Yeah, hi. I'm Dinesh. I want to start with a number of 63.9 lakhs. That is the approximate overall net realized loss shown in my current Zerodha based working records across my trading journey. This is not a presentation about a secret indicator predicting tomorrow market or promising some profits. I'm going to take you through what happened in my own trading journey in the history that the decisions, behaviors, increasing activity, increasing risk, and eventually the consequences. That is approximately how much I lost through my trading journey based on my Zerodha records. I used Zerodha throughout this journey. So I could go back and look at the actual execution history. And when I looked at it, I realized something important. This wasn't one terrible trade. It was thousands of decisions made over years. Mm, I didn't lose the money because of one terrible trade. I lost it through thousands of decisions. One decision became another. Those decisions happened over years, and the realized losses accumulated. So when I look back now, I don't see one mistake I can blame. I see a pattern of decisions. Before we go further, let me tell you what this is not. This is not another secret indicator. I'm not going to predict tomorrow's Nifty or Bank Nifty, whatever. This isn't a profit guarantee, and it isn't a signal service, and I'm not giving you a stock name, an option strike, or telling you when to buy or sell. This is your personal trading self audit. Now let's look at the numbers. The current working figure for my F&O net loss is 61.54 lakh. F&O trading charges are approximately 14.39 lakh. The trade book contains more than 67,000 F&O executions across the documented period. The overall approximate net realized loss is 63.9 lakh. These are working figures from my Zerodha records and will be reconciled for the final course. But even before the detailed analysis, one thing is obvious. There was a huge amount of activity. I wanted to understand what that activity actually represented. Over the years, I tried many things. 5 minute ORB, 15-minute ORB, 1 minute ORB, MACD, RSI, Supertrend, Fibonacci, and some paid subscriptions, different setups and different approaches. Whenever something stopped working for me, I search for something else. This is not me saying these tools are useless. They are simply the tools tried. The problem was what I kept believing the next strategy would solve the problem. I didn't. So when I put those years together, I could see a repeated cycle. A strategy stops working. I search for another strategy. I get temporary hope. Then I lose again and I search again. I thought underneath all of this was maybe this is the strategy that I will finally help me recover my losses. That sentence is important because the problem wasn't simply changing strategies. It was the reason I was changing them. This is probably the most important transition. The strategy kept changing, my objective didn't. The objective was recovery. Once I recognized that, I started looking at my trading history differently. I wasn't always evaluating a trade simply on its own metrics. Sometimes I was looking at the trade through the lens of what I had already lost. The changes, the emotional objective of the trade. That was the trap for me. Let's go back through the early years. In 2019, the working figure shows a approximate loss of 2.36 lakhs. My thinking was I will recover it in 2020. The working figure shows approximately 6.8 1.8 lakh lost. By then, the thought had become I will recover the previous year losses in 2021. The source record shows another losses, although the current source does not separately state the exact magnitude. Then in 2022, the approximate net damage was around 12 lakh and activity became extreme. The objective evolved. I will make money trading. Then I will recover what I lost. Then I will recover at least half. Then just need one big trade. 2022 was the year when my documented F&O activity became extreme. The working figure is more than 23,000 F&O execution in that single year. But I don't want you to take the lesson as 23,000 trades are automatically bad. That's not the point. The questions I should have asked were why I was why was I making so many decisions? Was I trying to accomplish what happened after losses? And what happened when I believe I need to recover? Then something different happened in 2023. My approximate net F&O result was positive, around 1.13 lakh. It was the only profitable year in this database. But the interesting part wasn't simply the positive number. I had a, I had got a job. Trading became less continuous. I wasn't sitting in the market consistently. I had made money, so I couldn't honestly say I was incapable of making money. The bigger question became why couldn't I protect it consistently? The question changed how I looked at the entire journey. Then came 2024. This was the year of changed everything. The working F&O net loss was approximately 21.98 lakh. I had a salary. I borrowed the money based on that salary. I increased my position size dramatically. I started taking large expiry trades. I had zero to hero mentality and I wanted to recover previous losses. I don't show these numbers because it's impressive. I show it because I want you to understand what can happen when the goal changes from finding a valid opportunity to trying to recover what has already lost. Compare these two situations. In the first, I'm looking for the valid opportunity. Risk is sized to the setup. The position is sized to the structure. And the decision is based on the trade in front of me. The second, I'm trying to recover your previous losses. Risk can become sized to the gap I want to close. The position can become larger because the previous loss is sitting in my mind. The decision is anchored in the past. The emotion objective has changed. Once trading losses become debt, the pressure changes. You don't just have, I lost money. You now have, I have an EMI, and that can create a very different psychological environment. Loss, then debt, then EMI, then pressure, then more trading, then more risk. This is part of my personal history, not a model for action. Looking back, using new money to try to solve an old trading losses was one of the most damaging decisions in my journey. Then we come to 2026. The trade book data I provided shows more than 26,000 F&O executions. The approximate net F&O result was minus 12.98 lakh. By this point, the issue wasn't that I hadn't tried enough strategies. I had tried plenty. The issue was that the same behavioral pattern could continue even after everything I had already experienced. At that point, I made a decision. I wanted to end my trading journey. That was not a victory. It was a decision to stop continuing the same pattern. I don't want you to take away that the options don't work. RSI doesn't work or ORB doesn't work. Those are not the conclusions. The lesson I take from my history is this: a trader can keep changing strategies while repeating the same behavioral mistake. I had a profitable year and still lost later. A trade can make money still come from a bad process. Recovering some money doesn't necessarily remove the recovery mindset, and trying to recover what is already gone can create even greater. If I had to reduce the entire journey to 5 observations, they would be there. One, a profitable year does not guarantee future success. Two, a good trade can still come from a bad process. Three, recovery thinking changes risk. Four, more trading does not necessarily mean more opportunity. And five, capital protection matters. These are the observations from my own history, not promises. So, what is a complete masterclass? It's a guided walk through my actual trading history and the tools to perform the same kind of autopsy on your own. We look at how losses accumulated, where behavior changed, how frequency affected the journey, how position size affected it, how transaction cost accumulated, what happened during the worst periods, what was different during the profitable period, and the capital preservation framework I would use today. I also included the trading autopsy workbook, risk management framework, trading journal templates, and behavioral exercise. The masterclass is for someone who has already lost money and is ready to honestly analyze where it went. Maybe you feel pressure to recover previous losses. Maybe you keep changing strategies. Maybe you trade options frequently. Maybe you don't know your actual trading statistics. The question I want you to ask is, where did all my trading money go? But this is not for people looking for guaranteed return, daily profit targets, buy or sell signals, option strikes, sure shot trades, secret indicator, or a shortcut to get rich. Before you search for another strategy, ask yourself one question. Have you actually analyzed why your previous strategies failed for you? I spent years searching for the next answer. Then I finally went back and looked at the data. That's what this complete masterclass is built around. The price is 2499 for one-time access to the complete masterclass and included resources. The objective isn't to give you another signal, it's to help you understand your own trading behavior, your numbers, and your risk and your process. With the complete masterclasses, you get the full trading autopsy, the trading autopsy workbook, the risk management framework, trading journal template, and behavioral exercise. The idea is simple. Don't just ask whether you won or lost. Understand why you traded. Understand what happened to your risk. Understand your behavior and understand the pattern before it becomes more expensive. Sometimes the biggest threat to a trading account isn't the market. It's what the trader does after the market moves against them. Thank you for watching. This is educational and informational content only. It's not investment ideas, or advice, and there are no guaranteed returns.